on. All right, I'm having, let's see. All right, so I see one person on. Um, let me know who that is. I see one person on. All right, so today we're gonna be talking about our ICM meme coin. But today I'm gonna share some powerful information with you. I just want you to take this time out to send this live out to somebody. If you know of anybody who is really sick, um, you need to send this live out to them. I'm also going to be talking about after the storm passes, after Melissa passes, there is going to be a herb that is going to be in serious demand because just after Melissa passes, there is going to be uh, a breakout of some viral infection. A viral infection is going to break out just after this storm passes. And there's a particular herb that's going to be in high demand. I'm going to talk about that herb later on in the show. Just go ahead and send the like out to somebody. I'm going to talk about something that is going to be so beneficial. A lot of people are sick right now, and some people think that they need to spend a lot of money. If you know anybody who's crippled, anybody who can't walk, anybody who is fighting any chronic ailment, I'm going to share something with you that to some extent you may have known. I see Yahweh debunked. Thank you. Shalom. Thank you for having us. And I'd love to get you on. Yahweh debunked. This is a very good friend of mine, and he's also a part of our community. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about our ICM meme coin. What is our ICM meme coin? How you can get involved with that. But before we do so, I'm going to be talking to a friend of mine. And because we want persons to understand the different. So if you're joining us on TikTok, we're also streaming live on YouTube. We are on our YouTube page at ICM TV. All right, so there's a lot more content, and we have description. I'm going to be talking about some link, and those links can be found in our description. As I'm not so familiar with TikTok, but the links that I'll be talking about are going to be in our Facebook as well as our YouTube link. We're going to be talking about our meme coin, but I'm also going to be talking about some benefits as it relates to something that we use almost every day. And I promise you, it is something that everybody can afford. It is something that everybody can, that is available to everyone. There's a lot of people who are sick. And in the scripture talks about this gentleman who was sick. He was very sick. And his sickness was of such where he believed he needed some grand solution. The solution was very very simple, but he thought that he needed a grand solution. He was a soldier, and he had a condition called leprosy. It was a dangerous skin condition. It was a condition that caused you to be ostracized. It was a condition that, irrespective of your financial standing and your social standing, you would be an outcast of the community. And so he went to the prophet for help, and the prophet told him exactly what to do. And he thought that it was he needed something that was more difficult. And of course, those of you who have gone to Sabbath school or to Sunday school who know who I'm talking about. And he was covered with sore, covered with leprosy. And the solution was very simple. He was told to go to a river and to dip 7 times. As children growing up, we hear the song about this prophet. He had to dip 7 times, and when he dipped 7 times, he was made whole. The challenge was that he thought that what he needed, the solution, let me just get some light. on my phone here is a little bit dark. Good. Beautiful. So now I can see those persons who are joining us on TikTok. As I said, I want you to send this link out because usually when I do presentations like this, normally a lot of people would have to come to my office. So today I'm going to give away information that is going to be life changing. If you have high blood pressure, you need to hear what I'm going to say today. If you have diabetes, you need to hear what I'm about to talk about today. If you know anybody with cancer, if you know anybody with strokes, if you know anybody with seizure, if you know anybody that has Parkinson's disease, then you need to send this live out to them. I'm going to share with you information that is revolutionary, that's going to change your life, that is going to transform your life. It's going to be simple information, but it is going to be profound information. The thing is that there are some simple truths around us that because we don't understand how it works, we don't understand how profound it is. There are some simple things, as we say, simple trash, blind the eye. So if you know of anybody who is really, really sick, anybody who is struggling with constipation, anybody who's struggling with kidney disease, anybody who's struggling with paralysis, anybody who's struggling with arthritis, then you need to get them on. I see True Talker on. Good True Talker. True Talker, you're also on our, you're always helping me out on TikTok. I don't know if you can be so kind enough to help me on TikTok as well, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of information that is going to change your life. Today I have a guest with me, and he's no stranger, but I'm gonna invite him on. If you're on TikTok, you can also join us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is ICMTV, and let me just, without further delay, let me invite him on. I want to hear from him, and then I'm going to let him go, and then we're going to go into some more stuff. So without further delay, let me just introduce Maurice Carr. Hey Maurice, how are you?
Yes, Doc. Good
All
afternoon.
right,
Good evening.
all right. Good evening.
Yeah.
Now, Maurice, you are an hypnotherapist,
Yes.
right?
Certified
And
hypnotherapist.
I want to expose persons to the different the different modalities. We call them modalities in healing. But before Maurice comes on and tells us what's a hypnotherapist and what does a hypnotherapist do, I want to say that a lot of people are sick. Hey, Alvry, how you doing? Alvry, send this link out to somebody. Send this link out to somebody. If you know of anybody who has any type of chronic ailment, I am going to be talking about something that they need to hear. I'm going to unravel some things that they need to hear. If let me just give you an idea, Maurice. If you know of anybody who has ever been on a drip, anybody who has been sick, admitted in the hospital, and who has ever been on a drip, I'm going to share something with you that is going to change your perspective on the way it has to do with water and it has to do with drip. It's going to change your perspective forever. And there are many people who are chronically sick right now. What I'm going to share with you is going to absolutely change your life. And then hopefully next week, I'm going to, when I come back on, normally I do this show on a Sunday, but because of this time I'm doing it on Saturday. When I come back on, I'm gonna ask you to just private message me, and I'm going to ask you to share your testimonial. I'm talking about persons who are paralyzed. I'm talking about persons who are crippled. I'm talking about persons who have cancer. I'm talking about persons with chronic pain. What I'm going to share with you this evening is going to be so life-changing that by next week, this time around, I'm going to invite some of you just to share your results with me. It's going to be that life-changing, what I'm going to share. All right, but this evening I have Maurice with me, and Maurice, as I said, is a hypnotherapist. And as I said, when people are sick, it is said, and I always tell persons that about 87%, listen to this now, guys, 87% of what it means to be sick has nothing to do with your physical body. It has to do with your state of mind. And so, Maurice is a hypnotherapist. Maurice, welcome to our show. How are you?
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. You want to tell us what's a hypnotherapist?
Okay, I can do it very briefly. Hypnotherapist is simply someone who is skilled with using healing semantics to
Mm-hmm.
alleviate some of the limitations of the psyche. When I say healing semantics, there's certain language styles that uh, a hypnotherapist is trained to use
Mm-hmm.
that will take you to a place of openness and healing. Because the mind, if you imagine the mind like a garden,
Right.
right? And at the front of the garden, that's like your regular consciousness, like you and I are talking right now. And as you proceed into the garden, there's a certain another gate. Let's say you have certain special things in the back.
Right.
There's a certain gate that you got to pass through to get to that other portion of the garden. And that garden holds your feelings, your emotions, all the things that really drives your life.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain languages and certain styles you got to use to get across that gate to get into the deeper part of the garden. So the average person doesn't know this. So hypnotherapist is trained on how to access this deeper portion of the garden that controls most of what we do in life.
Right.
Most of what you do in life is controlled by 80% of your mind,
Right.
or even more.
Right.
People say
So,
90%.
right. So, talk to us about and help us to make the link between the physical sickness and the state of the mind. Somebody who has a
Right.
physical ailment and the state of the mind.
So I give you an example. Let's say most of us, our behaviors was cemented from under 10 years old.
Right.
So let's say when you were younger, some incident happened in your life, some event happened, and your parents spank you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which most of us got beaten when we were younger, we Jamaicans. So if your parents spanked you, and to relieve some of that stress or pain, you went and had you some ice cream,
Right.
right? Now later on, you developed this, and that ice cream made you feel better, made you feel good. All right.
Right.
Later on, as you got older, maybe you started developing some issue with diabetes because
Yes.
you continue looking for sweets to relieve you. You develop a connection with sweets, ice cream, etc., to relieve your stress condition that was created then.
Right.
Now, as a result, even when you find out that these things are causing you the issue, because now you have too much sugar in your body, because of course, if this becomes the way in which you relieve stress, then it's going to be a ongoing thing.
Right.
So by the time you reach a certain age, you have too much sugar in your system, and even though you know it is, you find it you're having a problem eliminating these foods from your eating habit,
Right.
right? So you have to relieve that connection of relieving stress from eating sweets or sweet things.
So a person who is, you're saying a person who is diabetic
Hmm.
may be diabetic because they have been uh,
Overindulging.
climatized or introduced to sweets from they were very young.
Yeah, they're overindulging. They're not overindulging, and even though I'm sure, even though many people they'll start, they stop, they start, they stop, even though they know it's bad for them.
Right. So
So there's
as a therapist now, how would you? help such a person? Because I'm sure there are a lot of persons who are diabetic and uh, who eat because of
Right.
that particular problem, and
So
we want to know how we could help them.
so like I said before, you have to be able to get into the subconscious part of the mind, because that's where your emotions and your history lies.
Hmm.
So to do that, you either you make changes when an authority comes to you and say, "Hey, you got to do this," or
Hmm.
you make changes when there's a crisis, or you make changes through habit. But you also can make changes by being having a skill to relax the critical, that gate that I told you about. There's a
Hmm.
critical factor in your mind. It's just a model that we use. There's a critical level. Like right now, when I say something to you, you're evaluating it
Right.
very quickly. It's happening just like that. You're evaluating. That's the critical factor in your mind. It's like a monkey mind that keeps going. So I would take, if you come to me as a client, I have the techniques to relax that mind, right? It's like you
Hmm.
open the gate, so it's almost like going into a relaxed, altered
State.
state.
Hmm.
So and in that state, you're more open to follow along with the new programming that's going to be sent to your subconscious.
Right.
So you have to. It's like in the garden, you have. It's like having weeds in your garden.
Right. So
So
you're
that
going to
old
weed it out.
right. So we can identify where that old program started, right? Weed it out, and then actually put the actual plants, put the actual seeds that you need to carry on with your life. More
Right.
open, more relaxed, more composed. You know. So
Right.
that's
Well,
a snapshot.
one thing that I found is that I found a lot of persons with chronic ailments, and cancer in particular. I find that a lot of these persons, uh, you know, once they come in, and this is mostly during our retreats, once they come in and we talk to them and talk with them, we we find that there's usually some form of trauma, whether it be physical or whether it be emotional, but there's some form of trauma that is there that these persons are harboring. And we realize that it's critical, it's very important for in order for them to get help for these traumas. Sometimes it's bitterness, sometimes it's things that their parents did to them when they were young, sometimes it is relationships, past relationships that they've been through. And even though physical healing is important, how
Yeah.
important is it for that person to be emotionally or psychologically healed?
Well, the emotions is the first. There's different bodies that we have, not just the physical body, right?
Hmm.
So there's the emotional body is affected first. So and that then changes or that trickles into the physical system. Or can you hear me?
Yes.
1 second. Uh, that trickles down into your endocrine system. It's all one thing, just levels. So if you're feeling tension around some relationship that you had before, that tension is going to find a weak spot in your endocrine system.
Right. And so that now becomes very important for that person to be delivered or to be relieved or to be overcome of that particular what somebody call blockage, emotional blockage.
Right. So the this it's a similar thing. So because you have an emotional blockage. You actually push down that relationship, that feeling. You've stuffed it down over the years. So what it does, it creates blockages at different parts of the body. So if you have a weak point in your body, in your heart, in your pelvic area, in your liver area, that's the organ that's going to be affected.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
so you're carrying a blockage from that relationship with that person,
Right. And
and
so by
that has to be that that relationship has to be repaired, have to
mhm,
be resolved
mhm,
in your own mind,
right.
because even though you're thinking that it ha- in our mind we're thinking we're hurting that person or we're carrying that memory from of that
Mhm,
person, it's
mhm.
actually our own psyche. It's actually your own psyche that is creating that division within us, that's pushing
Oh,
down those emotions.
okay. All right. So
And it is a safety mechanism because we have to preserve our life at that time, and we didn't know any better.
mhm.
You understand?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So so that is where therapy comes in. And I
Right.
mean, it's funny because a lot of people in Jamaica don't so much believe in therapy, don't so much believe in psychological assessment. You know, in the States it's big because most persons want you displaying certain type of behavior. They say, "Oh, go see a therapist." They'll even recommend to see a therapist. In Jamaica, it's very different, and that's very important for
Right.
persons to do. So you're saying that by doing a session with you, persons can get help. You can help persons to resolve those issues.
Right. And I must say that in our culture, it's just hypnotherapy is not too far from prayer.
Hmm.
The same a neurologist gonna see the same changes in your brain when you're praying
Absolutely.
as when you're going through hypnotherapy. You understand me?
Hmm.
So there are folks in our society that actually does the same thing that a
Hmm.
hypnotherapist does. It's just under a different name.
Right.
You
Right.
know, there are healers who, as they call them, laying off hands. When they
Hmm.
pray, they enter into that hypnotic state,
Hmm.
and they're doing the same thing. So this is just a modern way of doing the
Doing
same thing
hypnosis.
that our ancient healers used to do.
All right. All right. All right. Maurice, I want to share something with our audience. As I said that we're launching our meme coin. Um, and guys, one of the reasons why I invited Maurice on is because this look at him. This guy that you're seeing here, this guy, and I wanted to, I wanted persons to see him and to know him because I want to give the credit to him. This is the gentleman who is behind the creation of this uh, term, ICM, Indigenous Caribbean Medicine. Uh, Maurice was also a student of mine. He was doing our course, and one of the assignment was for persons to come up with a suitable name that expresses or that conveys or that captures uh, quite accurately the name of the medicine that the name that should be given to the practice of our medicine. And a number of students submitted names, and he was the one who came up with the name ICM, or Indigenous Caribbean Medicine. Now, I wanted Maurice to be on because I wanted Maurice to see that the name Indigenous Caribbean Medicine has evolved to something else now. It has evolved to a meme coin. It has evolved to uh, something that is going to change the Caribbean. a meme coin. I'm going to talk to persons on the show about the meme coin, what is behind the meme coin, and how persons can be a part of the project, because this is absolutely going to be life changing. It is going to be transformative. Persons are going to say, well, I was a part of the first show, but I wanted persons to see the man. This is the man that coined the phrase ICM meme coin, the first what I call the first wellness-based meme coin from the Caribbean, because there are going to be other meme coins, but this is the first meme coin. So I want you to stay with me throughout the process of the show. I'm going to talk more about the meme coin and what is the concept behind the meme coin, but I wanted persons to meet the man who was behind the name, Maurice. And I basically took him off guard because he didn't know that I wasn't gonna do what I just do, right, Maurice?
Yes, you did. You did.
All right, but I know you have to run now.
Yep.
Maurice's information is on the bottom of the screen. That's his telephone number. That's his email address. If you wanna catch up with him, if you'd like to talk to him more about his services, then you can do so. Any last word, Maurice, before you go?
Um, no, well, I just can just say that hypnotherapy is used for various things. You know, anyone dealing with anxiety, anyone dealing with PTSD, trauma, weight loss, smoking. If you know an athlete that want to improve his sports performance, you know, all those things. If you have a student, if you know of a student that's preparing for exams and they just get nervous during exams, you know, we know that experience. Just contact me and we can help resolve all those things.
All right. Thank
If you
you
if you
so.
if you know a person that has any phobias, you know, some of us got stung when we were young with from bee and wasp, and we can't go near a wasp or bee even though we've grown older. Simple things like that. We can all those things can be resolved.
All right. And much more. All right, so guys, I wanted to reach out to Maurice. As I said, he's a part of the ICM community, and he's also into natural medicine, but his modality is mainly rooted. So he does use herbs, use all of those natural products, but his modality is rooted in hypnotherapy. Again, thank you very much, Maurice. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
All right, Doc. Thank you. Be in
All right, bye
touch.
bye. Yeah. All right. So guys, want to thank Maurice. As I said, if you're on, I want you to send the video out to about as many persons as you can. I'm going to be talking about if you know of anybody with any chronic ailment, you need to send them the link right now, because I'm going to take a deep dive, and I'm going to go into some stuff that is going to change your life. And it's going to be so life transformative that by next week Sunday, all being well, next week Sunday, I want persons on to reach out to me, because I'm going to give you an activity to do, and I want you to reach out to me because I want you as a guest to share your testimony with our audience as to how what I'm about to share with you is going to change your life. If you know of anybody with any serious headache issue, if you know anybody with any paralysis issue, if you know of anybody with constipation issue, if you know of anybody with epileptic seizure, if you know of anybody with diabetes, arthritis, if you know of anybody with obesity, if you know of anybody with erectile dysfunction, it doesn't matter what the problem is. I want you to share the link, because what I'm about to share with you is going to help you to understand what is at the root cause of many of the ailments out there. Most people who are sick, listen to me now, most people who are sick, most of the sickness is rooted in one dege, dege, as we would say, one dege, dege cause. And I'm going to share with you what that one cause is, and I'm going to share with you how you can rectify it. If you know of anybody who is feeling weak right now, I want you to send them this link. If there's anybody who is having any chronic ailment, I want you to send them the link right now, because I'm going to share with you how those persons, to a high extent, can be helped. Now, I'm going to start up because I don't like to, my teaching method is not so much to tell people. I like to extract and to elicit from persons. If you're on my TikTok, I want you to jump over to my YouTube page. We're going to go into class now. We're going to go into deep dive. Now, is there anybody on the live who has ever been admitted in a hospital and, or you may not want to say you, but they have been admitted and they have been given an IV drip. They've been given an IV drip. I want to talk to you tonight. Do you know of anyone who has ever been sick, admitted in the hospital, or maybe not even admitted in the hospital, but they had a serious health concern? Yes. Vitality Trend said yes, and they went to the hospital and they were given a drip. All right. I want to start from there because I want to see how I want to help you to make sense of what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you a lot of what I'm going to share this evening. You have seen it, you have experienced it, but because you never understood it, you weren't able to take the knowledge and to apply it to other issues that you were having. No. So Vitality Trend says yes. Next question. When you went to the hospital, the nurse who hooked you up on the drip, most time you get your first bag of drip. Did you take note that when they were giving you the drip, they would sometimes adjust the vacuum chamber? Right. Jeremy Warner says, right. So guys, check out the link, ICM TV. I want you to interact with me because I'm going to teach, but I want you to interact with me because I don't want to tell you. I want to help you. I want to extract from you the knowledge that you have that you've never really applied. So you were sick and you were brought to the hospital. And when you were brought to the hospital, you were given a certain amount of IV drip. Now, for persons who are dehydrated, what the nurse will do is the nurse will usually turn the chamber, the vacuum chamber up so that the drip is running very fast. The drip is running very fast. And then after you become hydrated enough, they will turn the drip down. And what you notice is that you will start to have drip, 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 drip. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you know what is the liquid? Do you know what type of liquid is in that bag? You just type it on the chat. Yes, you know, or what do you think it is? Just tell me. What is in that drip? And then I'm going to go into a deep dive. Anybody knows what is in that drip? Vitality Trend says salt and water. Very good. Salt and water. Now, one of the reasons why when you are brought to the hospital, yes, Debunk says, I think part of it has sodium chloride. Same thing, sodium chloride. It's water. Salt and water. Now, one of the reasons for that is because the doctors know that you are 70%, the human body is 70% water. Not only that, but the cells in the body is about 70% water. Now, I'm going to share with you something that's going to shock you. Most times when a person is sick, listen to me now. Most times when a person is sick, that person who is diabetic, that person who has cancer, that person who has a headache, that person, most of the ailments that you have, it is rooted in one simple problem. And that simple problem is a low voltage in your cells. That simple problem is a low voltage in your cell. what you will notice is that not long after getting that salt water, the first thing that you notice or that you realize is that your energy level comes back up. Because most people who are sick are really suffering from a low voltage. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to go into that this evening. Low voltage. That is the reason why what the doctors do is the minute you come in, irrespective most of the time of what your problem is, the first thing that they'll do is they'll connect you to water, because the salt in the water, salt helps to increase the electrical ability of the cells. Salt is, or sodium, is a conductor of electricity. Right? Sodium is a conductor of electricity. So a lot of the persons who are sick, a lot of you who are sick, the solution is very simple. All you need to do, I'm going to talk about it, is a protocol that you need to go on that increases the voltage of your cells, that increases the amount of electricity that is in your cell, because once that electricity goes down, then your cells begin to become what I would call a habitat for disease. Healthy cells have a particular voltage that I'm going to talk about. A cell, when a person is sick, it is because this voltage of that cell drops to a certain level, and once the voltage drops to a particular level, then that cell becomes a home or habitat for disease to thrive in. So those persons who are feeling, a lot of those persons who are having knee problems, a lot of those persons who are aging fast, one of the major root cause for that is because of the amperage that is low. And so the amperage that is in your cell, or the energy that is in your cell, is very important for what is called ATP synthesis, for the cells to produce energy. It's very important. It's also very important for immune defense. If your cells are too weak, if there's not enough voltage in your cells cannot carry out what we call DNA repair. The cells are too weak. The cells don't have enough energy to repair themselves. Because what happens in a healthy person is that our body, our cells is in a constant state of repair, regeneration, and rebirth. And when there's not enough energy for that to take place, then guess what happens? The cells cannot repair themselves. Also very important, if the cells don't have enough current, the cells cannot assimilate nutrients the way it is supposed to assimilate nutrients. Now, I'm going to share something else with you. Now, do you notice that a person who is on a saline solution, listen to this now, a person who is on a saline solution who is admitted in the hospital, sometimes goes for days without eating. Now, as much as you think you need to eat food every day, as much as you think you need to eat food every single solitary day, you are sick, you are weak, you are in the hospital, and the doctor who sees that you are sick, who puts you on a saline solution, they have you there for days without eating, and you're not dead. Why is it that you're not dead? Why is it that you're not getting weaker? It is because your cells are being fed a consistent and a constant flow of electricity in that drip. That drip, which is the salt in the water, is providing your cells with hydration, but it is also providing your cells with the amount of electricity for you to start to get better, for you to start to heal. And you may be asking, what does that have to do with my cancer? What does it have to do with my high blood pressure? What does it have to do with my hypertension? Remember, I said to you that if your cells don't have enough current in them, if your cells are not at the right voltage, even the moringa that you drink, even the herbs that you drink, your cells will not be able to use it. Your cells will not be able to assimilate it. Now, there is a very wise teacher that was once among us. His name was Dr. Sebi. And one thing that Dr. Sebi did was that Dr. Sebi did a lot of things without explaining to his patients what he was doing. And so persons got better, but they didn't know how they got better. They didn't know why they got better. But this was also one of the very important strategy that he would use. He would sometimes allow people to go on fast. And when the fasting was not enough, he would sometimes use herbs to detoxify them. And then after detoxifying them, one of the things that he would do is that he would put them on a certain volume of water per day. And that volume of water was designed to provide the cells with the electrical voltage it needed for him to start working on them. There are a lot of persons who are sick where they need to start from is not necessarily getting herbs. It's not necessarily getting medicine. What some people need to do, or what we need to do with some people before we start, is we need to build up the amperage of their cells. And when we build up the amperage of their cells, one of the things that you begin to realize is that the body begins to utilize the medicine much better. When we talk about a hydrated cell, and a cell that is healthy, you hear persons talk about the pH. What is pH? And so the pH is about 7.35 to 7.45. That is the pH of the cells. That is where the cells function at its best. And that is where the cells are able to transfer electron. And that is where the cells are hydrated. And so once the cells are not there, then it doesn't matter the herb that you're drinking, doesn't matter what you're taking, you will not get the result that you're looking for. And so some of the signs of what we call cells that having the right voltage or the right amperage is fatigue. Now, a lot of persons wonder, how do you fix this problem? What does this have to do with me getting better? And as I said this evening, I want to share with you about our meme coin, but I want to talk to you about this very important issue. I want you to share it live with as many persons as possible. Now, one of the ways that we're supposed to provide the body with the amount of current that it needs, one of the ways that we do that is by the amount of water that we drink. The amount of water that we drink. Now, a lot of persons say that they're drinking water. But two things most persons are doing wrong. One of them is that they are drinking unintelligent water. Now, What is water? H2O. 2 parts of hydrogen, 1 part of oxygen. Now, water can exist in 3 states. Water can be liquid, solid, or gas. Now, what is water? Water, if you were to look on water with a microscope, what you would find is that water is just crystals in a liquid state. If you were to take water and freeze it, what you will find is a pattern in the structure of that water particle. A structure. So when you freeze water, what you're basically seeing is crystals. Now, what is crystals? And since lately we've heard Donald Trump, we've heard America talking about rare earth. Rare earth. Dr. Ben, what does rare earth have to do with your conversation? Where are you going with all of this? I want you to bear with me. Rare earth has always been around. But all of a sudden, rare earth is becoming very valuable. Why is rare earth becoming so valuable? What does rare earth have to do with water? Why are you talking like this? Why are you going off on all of these rabbit holes? I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. Now, rare earth has increased in value, so much so that there are wars being fought over rare earth. Rare earth. Why is rare earth so valuable? Rare earth is extremely valuable because rare earth has component that is used in artificial intelligence. Rare earth is expensive because rare earth contains components that are necessary for the advancement of artificial intelligence. Now, I want you to understand that once there's artificial, then there must be a natural. As a matter of fact, artificial intelligence is being developed by studying natural intelligence. And so, if you were to take the rare earth and look at the molecular structure of rare earth, you will realize that the rare earth molecular structure is really crystals. If you watch Superman, and I'm going off now, you would realize that when Superman wants to access the archives of his history back on Krypton, the information was so vast that it could not be held on a floppy disk. It could not be held on a thumb drive. That information was stored in crystals. And so when he wanted to access the information about his past, which was very vast, which was very big, he would take the crystals and he would insert the crystals, and on the crystals was stored his information, because crystals stores information. Water stores information because water is just crystals. If you freeze water, it becomes crystals. And so when you are drinking water, you are not just drinking water. You are drinking intelligence. You are drinking information. Where did that water come from? A lot of that water came through the soil. That water came through the soil, so when you go to the spring and you get water, what you are getting is intelligent water. The water has crystal particles in it, and that crystal particles has intelligence in it, which is why it is needed for artificial intelligence development. That is the reason why rare earth is needed for artificial intelligence. Well, water has the same crystals in it, and every time you drink water, one of the things that you're giving to your body is you are feeding intelligence into your body. For your body to heal itself, your body also needs intelligent, and it needs intelligent water. That is the reason why when you are sick and you go to the hospital, they put you on a saline solution, which is H2O, and sodium chloride is a salt, it's a crystal. So what they have done is that they have added crystals to the water, not only to boost its amperage, but to boost its intelligence. And so you who are sick and feel weak, when you start to consume that liquid, your body is being fed nutrients. Your body is being fed intelligence. And your body uses that intelligence because your cells need intelligence in order to repair itself. So I'm going to tell you what to do. So a lot of you who are sick, a lot of you who are battling ailments, one of the things that you need to do is you need to increase your water intake. Now, I'm going to tell you what to do. For the next week, if you're having cancer, diabetes, arthritis, chronic illness, I don't care what the sickness is. I don't care what the sickness is. I want you to get 2 pints of water. So something like this. I get a bottle like this. Bottle of water like this. And I want you to get half tablespoons of pink salt. And I want you to drop it in the water. And I want you to take a mouthful. Watch me. Mouthful. Or half a mouthful. Every 2 minutes. The goal is to drink off all of this by sunset. The goal is to drink off all of this by sunset. So you're going to get a half a teaspoon of pink salt, because pink salt contains boron and not the sodium chloride. And somebody may be saying, oh, I may be hypertensive. Doesn't matter. Even if you're hypertensive, you're going to find that this is the first time you're going to be drinking salt and your pressure going to go down. This is the first time you're being told to drink salt and your pressure is going to go down instead of up. And you're going to drink that maybe every minute. And what you're going to realize is that for those of you who believe you have to eat, you're going to realize that your appetite will be cut. What you're going to be doing is hydrating your cells. And as you drink the water, if you are going to the bathroom too often, then please reduce the amount of water. Yeah, half a teaspoon, not tablespoon, half a teaspoon Yahweh debunk. Half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of water. And you're going to drink it. Now, if you are drinking and you realize you're going to the bathroom too often, then you're going to reduce the amount of water that you're swallowing. Because what happens is that, you notice when you go to the doctor, they'll turn up the drip. But once you're hydrated, they turn it down. And the reason for that is because they turn it down to the extent that your body can absorb it. If you drink too much water, and a lot of people who say they drink a lot of water are drinking water incorrectly. I want you to imagine you going outside to your pepper tree planted, and you go outside, and when you go outside at about 12 o'clock in the day, you're watering your plant. What you're going to notice is that as you throw the water onto the plant, the hot soil is going to take away all that water, and the plant isn't going to get any. So even though you water the plant, you didn't really water the plant, you water the soil. Because the earth was too hot, so the plant didn't get any. Went right. So in the same way, when you drink too much water, it goes straight to your bladder. As you drink it, you go right to the bathroom. If that is what is happening, it means that your body is not absorbing. What is happening is that you're passing it out quicker than your body can get to absorb it. And so it's important that you understand that there's a right way and a wrong way to drink water. So I want you to do that for me. And I want you to come back next week, Sunday, all being well. The storm has passed, all being well. I want you to come back. And I want you to share with me, or I want you to share with us. If you're having any type of ailment, I want you to share with us how differently things has been. And for us to hear the different feedback from persons. But there are so many persons who are ill, and at the root of their problem is dehydration. When your body goes into dehydration, your body goes into a crisis. A lot of what we call disease is just the body's response in trying to tell us that something is wrong. So it causes us to be at a dis-ease or a discomfort. So a lot of people who are sick are really sick because of dehydration. A lot of people who have blood pressure problems. Now, I can tell you that there's also what we call infused water. Water has the ability of extracting the minerals also out of food and extracting the minerals out of plants. So there are some persons who are sick that what you need is, after you've completed this, you may need some of those herbs in their green form just being added to water. Like, for example, I can tell you, for those of you who are watching who have high blood pressure, one of the things that you can do to change that is getting what we call the beef thyme or fever grass. And just adding fever grass to water, spring water. And when I say water, I mean spring water, preferably. For those of you who can't get spring water. Why? Because that is intelligent water. All right? And you add the plant to it, and what the water does is that the water extracts the minerals, and you drink the minerals. And that mineral now goes to work. Because here's what happened. Our body knows what it needs. Our cells are intelligent, which is the reason why some people who are sick, or some people who, not sick, but some people who are lacking certain nutrients, they will have a natural inclination to go into nature to eat something that has that nutrients. So a lot of persons who are lacking in iron, for example, have a natural inclination to want to eat dirt. I want to eat soil. Some persons who the body is filled with poisons have a natural inclination to eat charcoal. Why? It is the body that is intelligent that is wired in such a way that it goes beyond the conscious mind. You don't even have to know. The body, without your permission, goes beyond your conscious mind and subconsciously tells you what it wants. Why? Because the body does two things very well. The body heals itself very well, and the body protects itself very well. Most people who are sick, most of the time, the body is just telling you that something is wrong. We don't know how to interpret it. Now, so the body heals itself, the body protects itself, the cells, the body knows what it wants, and plants have what the body wants. So when you practice medicine and natural medicine, the skill that you are developing is actually being able to know how to interpret what the body says it needs and how to match it with what the plant says it has. That's the skill. That's the art. That's the practice. As you practice longer and as you practice more often, it is a skill that you acquire. It is a skill that you develop. In that you know, by looking at a person sometime, or a person talking to you and telling you the symptoms, you know how to interpret that as the body telling the person what's wrong. And you now know where to go in nature and what plants will supply what the body needs. So it's a very important balance, and you know, the more you practice, the longer you practice, you get better at it. Now, as I said, that it's very important, and this evening I wanted to go into that because I wanted to give you some value for the time that I've invited you to spend with me. This evening, I want to talk to you about the launch of the ICMMEME coin, the ICMMEME coin. And I want to talk to you about why the ICMMEME coin. Now, I run two offices, one in Port Antonio, one in St. Thomas. And I want to tell you, I'll give you a little backdrop as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, between running the offices, and I've been doing this now for a couple of years, well over 10 years, the most effective that I've ever seen what we do is not through our offices, is not through seeing persons, telling them what's wrong with them, and giving them medicines to go home and to take. The most effective that I've ever seen our practice at is when we were able to take persons in through our retreats. Because when you do a retreat, you're with the person. So you're able to see, number one, beyond what the person tells you. When a person comes to you, the person will always tell you about the symptoms that they're experiencing. Bear in mind that this person is not trained to interpret what the symptoms mean or why the symptoms are present. They're only going to tell you what they're experiencing. And so, with your best knowledge, you have to understand what that means and help that person. But when a person comes into your retreat setting and you're able to be with that person, you're able to see far beyond what that person will tell you. That's one. Two, a lot of persons are sick because of the environment that they are in. And a lot of persons start to feel better when they change the environment that they are in. Just by changing the environment and changing the people that they are around begins to bring therapy. A lot of persons are in an environment when they become sick. The only constant that increases is fear. So just imagine somebody gets sick. They've stepped out of their comfort zone, out of their normal zone. They weren't like this. They were feeling healthy. They had a certain amount of weight. They had a certain amount of energy. Now, they don't have the energy that they used to have. They don't feel as good as they used to feel. And they become fearful. Now that they've become fearful, their partners, the people around them become fearful. So they are living in an atmosphere that is charged with fear. And there is nothing worse for a sick person than for them to be in an environment where fear exists. It is traumatic. Now, coupled with that fear, the person may not have any support. So just imagine you're weak, you've lost weight, and then persons who aren't sensitive and who aren't mindful, who mean all the best in the world, are reminding you, me not like how you look. Boy, you don't look good to me. Some may even say, boy, to me, you look like you're going to make it. These are words that even if you had a little encouragement, a little faith, it begins to rob you. So, having the sick, being in that sick condition and living in an environment where there's fear, there are some persons who have no finances as well. That adds to the fear. There are persons who are being bombarded by what could and what can help. We literally have persons who come to us who go to a different doctor like every week, every month, who is confused. And so I can tell you, because I've been in this for years, that a retreat takes that person out of that setting. Number one. So healing can begin because they're in an environment where there is stability, there is faith, and there is positive charge. Sometimes also what I find is that there are persons who think that they are the worst. There are persons who, when they call you, they think they are going to die. And sometimes when they come to a retreat and they see who their roommate is, or they see somebody else on the retreat, they sometimes realize that they are not the worst. That there are conditions out there worse than them. So I'm telling you this because every day I see persons who come to me, and I know that what this person wants isn't just medicine. What this person wants is to be taken out of their environment into an environment where they can get help. There's also people who you send home who will call you every minute because most of us know how to prepare foods to poison us, foods to kill us, but we don't know how to prepare foods that give us life, or foods when we are sick. So a lot of persons are in a condition that come to me that when I see them, I say to myself, I'm going to give you something to take, but really and truly what I know is that I need to help this person by taking them out of their situation. I've had some very traumatic experiences in the work that I do. There are times when I just have to just leave it because people take energy from you. They will drain you, not because they want to drain you. It's just the nature of the work. I remember 3 cases in particular, and I'm talking about why I'm pushing the ICM meme coin, why I'm doing it, telling you why I'm doing it, and what it's about, and why I need to talk like this because it's therapeutic for me. I remember there was one girl that came to me. She had a condition where from her head to under her foot bottom, she was covered in sores. I remember she came with her mother, and they begged me if they could stay. No, I could help her. I don't know if you know what it feels like when you can do something and for some reasons you're not able to do it. Have you ever been in a position where you know you can do something and you know it's going to provide significant help, but because I'm not having the right tool? I want you to imagine you being a carpenter and somebody comes to you who is homeless and you have the skill to do it, but you don't have the tools to do it. That's my situation. And the reason I'm coming on this live is because this is not only my situation, this is also the situation of many persons. Many healers are in that particular position that I'm in. I'm talking to you about why I'm doing the ICM meme coin. I'm talk about the meme coin. So there was this girl who came and she was covered in sores. I remember I had to tell her, even though she was begging, even though she was willing to stay in a less than suitable condition, I couldn't take her because with the surface area of sores that she had, it meant that there was a high possibility of infection. So I couldn't keep her. She was sent to the Mandeville Hospital. While she was there, I would send her credit. And every time she take up the phone, she would call me, "Sir, please, you can't come for me. I'm dead. Please come for me." Now I know I can't help her, but I don't have the tools. I don't have the facility. She was in her 20s. She had 2 daughters. And she would call me. And she would call me. And I couldn't tell her that I could take her. And I remember she stayed in the hospital until there was no more call. She died. And that thing haunted me. I couldn't go to my office for a couple of days. It haunted me. I remember there was another girl. I'm going to say that she was from St. Thomas. She was 19 years old. She was going to nursing school. She was a practicing practical nurse student. Brilliant girl. She had a health condition. But again, I knew I could help her. They were poor. She couldn't afford it, but that wasn't the problem. I knew I could help her, but I didn't have the place to keep her, to help her. And when I go to St. Thomas, to my clinics, I would go and visit her. And I would watch her mom. And I would watch her. And I watched her until she became weaker and weaker and weaker until she died. And there are many cases like that. I'm telling you guys, if you're not strong to do what I do, no mind you analyze yourself. Because it's a very, 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 very difficult burden to bear when you know you can help somebody and the person is depending on you and you don't have the tools to help them. There are many times that I've tried to start, projects, classes. I've tried many ways to see how I can help persons. When I realized that I was limited, I've tried to see how I could share my knowledge. But a lot of the persons who I share my knowledge with, they're going to come up in the same situation. Some of them I don't tell them, but some of them, they're going to end up in the same position that I end up with. What is that position? They're going to end up being in a position where they will acquire the knowledge and the ability to help, but they will not be in a position to have the tool to help. And I'm telling you, it is very disheartening. You come home at nights, and if you're what is called an what is called that if your personality is one that is very empathetic, It can drive you into depression. And so I sat and I thought about how can I create something that is going to allow me to help, but also help those persons who want to help. Because my goal is to see the proliferation of what I call indigenous Caribbean medicine. The person I brought on was a student of mine, came up with the coin indigenous Caribbean medicine. From ever since I've been running with that. What is indigenous Caribbean medicine? I believe that it is time for us as Caribbean people to have a medicine that is distinctively Caribbean, where we are empowered enough to care for our people. When you go to New York, when you go to Florida, when you go to other parts of the world, there are Canada, there are thousands of people from the Caribbean who subscribe to natural healing, who subscribe to natural medicine. But no system, our governments have not put in place a system that can help us as a people. And so I'm not one of those persons who believe in looking to the government and badgering the government. I believe in people power. Which is why I have come up with this meme coin. I'm going to talk about it and how you can be a part of it. If you're watching me on TikTok, I want you to go over to my YouTube page where the live is. In the description of the video of this live, there are two links. One of them is to our Telegram group, and one of them is to our ICMMEME coin website. And I'm going to talk and share with you how you can help and what this is about. And there are many persons who are watching who are in a similar position. There are many healers. I mean, the ones who really care about persons, not just those who are hustling and looking for money. Those who really care about persons, those who want to see something put in place for our people. As I said, the next crisis is going to be a food and medicine crisis. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've created what is called the ICMMEME coin. If you know about Bitcoin, ICMMEME coin, this meme coin has been built on the Solana chain. And being built on the Solana chain, what I want to say first of all is that this is a coin. My goal, first of all, is to use it as a vehicle to get the concept out there, to get the concept of indigenous Caribbean medicine out there. That's my number one priority. Because traditional Chinese medicine is out there. Kampa is out there. Ayurvedic medicine is out there. And funny enough, if we're not careful, in the Caribbean, in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, we're going to see the different people group. And I'm talking about the minority because people of African descent make up the majority of the people in the Caribbean. But we're going to see minority groups within the Caribbean coming to the Caribbean and setting up their form of natural medicine that will require us to subscribe to it. And when I say us, I'm talking about the majority of the demography of the Caribbean is people of African descent. So when I talk about us, what I'm saying is that we're going to see people of African descent subscribing to a healing system that is predominantly for other people groups that we will be forced to subscribe to because we have nothing else. When that healing system was not so suited for our biology. And so the healing system that I'm talking about, indigenous Caribbean medicine, and even though we're out of one people, and I'm going to talk about Caribbean medicine, is a system that is earmarked for people of African descent. And so I want to talk about that this evening. I want to talk a little bit about ICM. I want to talk about what is called the formation of what I call a community that is built up by us, that is comprised of people from the community. So I'm going to talk about the token. As I said, the token is built on the Solana network. And what I'm having now is I'm having a pre-launch. I'm hoping to have the launch. When I say launch, I mean it will go on a major exchange the latter part of November. So we're having a pre-launch now where persons can get involved and be a part of the community. The first thing is to go to the description of this video, join our Telegram group. And then one thing I'm looking for is I want it to be a community in the truest of the sense. I'm looking, we're looking for persons who have skill sets who can help this project. We're looking for persons with skill sets who can help this project. And if you think that this is something that you would want to be a part of, I want to encourage you to visit our Telegram group, and I want you to join our Telegram group. And then I want to talk to you about the ICM meme coin. And the ICM meme coin is going to be a coin that is powered by the people, powered by the people of the Caribbean. It is a wellness-based coin, and it is designed to grow from the ground up through collective input. Unlike projects driven by top-down investors, we want this coin to be fueled by the voice and creativity of its community. Every holder becomes a part of the movement, and so that is basically how we want it to be. Now, what is a meme coin? Now, a meme coin, persons would have known about Trump coin, is a coin that is designed to reflect some form of character. It's usually built around principle. In this case, we want it to be built around health and wellness. And I'll talk about what I call the real world application. And so basically, we want this coin to be used as a means of building our community. And the goal is to use the coin to make indigenous Caribbean medicine go viral. That's what we want to do. We also want to use it to empower herbalists, healers, and creators across the Caribbean and the diaspora as well. We want to use it to fund community wellness projects. So there are many persons who are involved in projects across the Caribbean. In Jamaica, we want to use this to fund those projects. So if you're listening, and if it is that you have knowledge in funding, we want to put together a team. We're putting together a team, and this is, I'm not going to be on that. We have created 1 billion coins. 1 with a B, 1 billion coins. And I want to make 20% of that 1 billion coins available to community wellness projects, herbal medicine conservation, and education, as well as other initiatives that are geared towards us, the advancement of our medicine. So if you are involved in a project. I know there are communities right now that are involved in organic farming. We want to fund those projects. If you are involved in projects to plant herbs or to do research, we want to fund those projects. I went to Laos, and when I went to Laos, one of the things I learned in Laos, because I went to Laos to look at their model. I went to Laos to look at their model where natural medicine was being practiced alongside Western medicine. And I was welcomed there. So big up Laos and big up the Minister of Health there who welcomed me. What I saw was that they had successfully integrated the tertiary programs where persons who were doing their bachelor's and their master's, persons who were doing their thesis were paired with traditional practitioners. So persons who were doing their thesis were paired with traditional practitioners to observe and to learn and to document. And at the end of that observation period, those students came back and they were able to take what they learned and they were able to put together written material that better help the community, the population of Laos, so that doctors, medical doctors, who wanted to recommend plants but wanted data or information on the plants so that they could guide their patients, they had those books. When I came back to Jamaica, I went to the University of the West Indies and I found out that there is such a book available. There is a manuscript at the University of the West Indies where study was done on a wide number of plants, and that information was compiled and can be used to guide medical practitioners as to the contraindications of those plants. But for reasons beyond my knowledge, there's only one of that book there. So my goal is to see, my first goal is to see that book, and I'm going to bring on the personnel from the University of the West Indies who is a part of that project, because part of my goal is to fund that book or to fund printing of that book so that every medical doctor in Jamaica who wants to recommend a herb will have the knowledge based on the guidance how to recommend. For some reason, I'm going to say, for some reasons, that book has been created, but only one manuscript exists at the University of the West Indies. So most medical doctors who believe in plant medicine, who want to recommend them, can't recommend them because they have not studied plant medicine and they don't have no material to guide them. A book like that exists. The reason why we can't push it is because we don't have the money to do it, or because we don't have an organized system to do it. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've created a meme coin, 1 billion meme coin, and we are now in a pre-sale. And by the end of November, we are going to launch that coin, and that coin is going to go on the market. And I'm hoping that with your help, with the help of the wellness community, not only in Jamaica but across the Caribbean and across the world, your involvement, your participation will help that meme coin to increase in value, so much so that we will have the money that we need to push what is important to us as a people. This is where we are able to use the power of the blockchain as a people to determine and to decide what we want to make is priority. Somebody has decided that a material like that should not be made available to the rest of Jamaica. And so, we as a people are not benefiting. We want to sponsor herbalists. One of the real world application of the coin is going to be the creation of what I call the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Marketplace, the ICM Marketplace. None of what I'm saying to you is hypothetical. Everything that I'm saying to you, I have done it already. What we are doing, what I want to do now is to expand it to a bigger scale. What exactly is the ICM Marketplace? If you know about Amazon, you know that Amazon is a marketplace. Amazon is a marketplace that makes available the goods and the services, primarily the services, of persons from all over the world. Well, I am saying that if you are a herbalist, if you create herbal soap, if you create herbal infusions, if you create herbal tinctures, I am saying that there should be a marketplace for that product to be available to the world. What I am envisioning is I am seeing the creation of a marketplace where people across the globe, people across the world, will be able to use the ICMMEME coin to also purchase those goods and purchase those services. I'm looking at not only the creation of a marketplace, but I'm also looking on creators across the Caribbean, people who manufacture art, people who manufacture, who have wellness services, massage services, people who operate yoga centers. I'm looking for us to have a marketplace where people from around the globe can access our goods and access our service with the use of our meme coin. Now, we are doing a pre-launch, and I know that there are persons who are not crypto savvy or tech savvy. So if you go to our website, ICMMEME.com, you will notice that what I've done is I've created some, what I call CPI, which is some tokens, I've made it easier. So type in ICMMEME coin, and when you type in ICMMEME coin, what it does is that it brings you to our website where persons can support us by getting what is called community input points. So I've made it simple for persons to, this is where it's at now, crypto is in the near future. That's right, Bookie. So this is where it's at. So what we have done is that we have created our own meme coin for our community. A coin to push indigenous Caribbean medicine to the world. That's its main goal. So persons who get the token who didn't know anything about indigenous Caribbean medicine, because they have the token, they will now know about indigenous Caribbean medicine. Indigenous Caribbean medicine is going to be the medicine of the Caribbean. It is the medicine for us as a people. And so, as persons get this coin, they will know about what is indigenous Caribbean medicine. The goal is for us to also use the token not only to empower our herbalists, because we want to support herbalists, not only to create a marketplace where herbalists can sell their products to the rest of the world. We want to empower our healers. We want to support initiatives that have to do with the preservation of our environment. We want to support initiatives that have to do with indigenous people on a whole. One of the things that I'm passionate about is what I call birth workers. A couple of years ago, our people had midwives. Our children are born in settings where we had more control. That is all gone. We want to sponsor persons to go back to Africa to do doula trainings, where they can be trained to deliver our children, where giving birth is no longer seen as an emergency, but is seen as a natural process that a woman goes through, and it is done properly, not just seen as a medical experience, but it is also seen as a spiritual experience, where our children are exposed and are touched by spiritual persons, not just persons that we don't know about. So the meme coin is designed to do that. So the meme coin is what I call the financial empowerment of us as a people. The meme coin is designed for financial empowerment. And I'm saying I want to be transparent. I want, if you're watching this, whether live or recorded, to go to our Telegram group. We have a number of key positions, team leading positions, where we're looking for persons who have the skill to be a part of the key leading positions. We're looking for persons who can help us to make this initiative be successful. Now, even though it is, I want persons to see it as an initiative that is geared towards financial empowerment, I want persons to see it also as personal empowerment. So the coins that are being launched now in their the pre-sale that we're having, persons are going to get the coin at 0.001 Solana. And when we go public, these coins are going to be launched publicly, starting at 0.0002 Solana. In other words, persons will make 100%. In order to protect, because we've earmarked about 10% of the 1 billion coin to pre-sale, and because when we have the launch of our liquidity pool, in order to protect the coin, those persons who purchase now, those coins are going to be locked. They are going to be locked and they are going to be released over a timely period so that persons will not sell out early the coins that they have to drive the price down. As I said, that not long after we launch, the next look that we're looking at, the next real world application of the coin, is the setting up of the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Marketplace. It's going to be a marketplace. If you sell tinctures, if you sell soap, if you offer consultation, whatever it is that you do, we're going to have a marketplace where all of these services are offered. And I know that once our community grows, and we are now able to go to any one of those huge organizations, and I can say to them, we have 20,000 members in our community. And the 20,000 members in our community are wellness, or they are health conscious people. It doesn't matter who that entity is. they'll want to be a part of our marketplace. And in order to be a part of our marketplace, they will also have to take our meme coin as payment for their goods and services, which is going to drive the price of our coin up. I'm talking about financial empowerment. This is how we empower ourselves as a people. And like Vitality Trend says, we don't want a pump and dump. We want persons to see this as a project that is long-term and sustainable. Now, I may have spearheaded the vision, but I believe that the persons that will make this project a successful project are not yet a part of the project. So this is also an invitation to you who hear what I'm saying, who believe that it is time for us to be financially empowered as a people, as a community, to say, I want to be a part of this. You can go to our website. You can go to our website and you can start by joining our Telegram group. And you can start by getting some of the community input points. Now, let me show you what that looks like. So all you have to do is go to, and somehow I'm not able to show it. Let me try again. So let me type the website. That is the website. For as little as $20 or $25, you can purchase 10,000 of the coins. 10,000. And persons are only allowed per wallet anywhere from 0.1 Solana to 5 Solana. I need persons to help us to do this. For the community fund, I need persons who are knowledgeable in viewing proposals and approving proposals. To make this success, we need persons who are good at social media marketing to be a part of a social media marketing team. And by the way, those persons who comprise the team are going to get coins as payment. And so we are going to give you, we have earmarked about 10% of the 1 billion coins for persons who are part of our team. Those persons' coins will also be locked and will be released on a timely basis so that those persons cannot sell their coin to flood the market. What we are talking about is financial empowerment. What we are talking about is not criticizing the government for not making natural medicine an option within the healthcare system. We're not looking for the government to do it. We are going to do it as a people. We are not looking for the government to build natural birth centers where our women can go and have children naturally. We are going to build it. We are not looking for our government to put out books. So we are saying, and this is not to be defiant. It would be my joy for the government to see what we are doing and being a part of it. I'm just saying, if the government does not want to be a part of it, we are going to empower ourselves that we can do it. We're not looking for the government to create a system where we can make our medicine available to the world. We are going to have a system, a platform where our medicine is going to be available to the world. We are going to have wellness centers. As I said, my vision, my dream is to see Jamaica become the wellness capital of the world. And by extension, I want to see Portland and St. Thomas being a part of that. I want to see the indigenous communities, the maroon communities. I want to see them being a part of that. Next year, I'm arranging a trip to Ghana because I want to connect. I'm working with a team to connect Ghana with the maroon communities. I want to see the language that is spoken in Africa. I want to make a connection back to Jamaica. I brought a Ghanaian to the Maroon village, and believe me, my respect for the Maroon villages is totally different now. I've been to the Maroon communities on numerous occasions, but I could not appreciate the Maroon communities for what they were because I never had a basis or a tool to evaluate them. I brought somebody from Ghana, and that person was able to validate a whole lot of what was shared to me. I saw it from a different perspective for the first time. It's sad that we are not serious enough about cultural preservation. It is sad that if we do not become serious about cultural preservation, we are going to suffer from assimilation because our culture is being assimilated by the dominant culture that our children are exposed to. That cultural assimilation also means the loss of wisdom and knowledge that our ancestors had that will be gone forever. And so I'm serious about what I'm doing. All of what I'm saying is going to take resources. It is going to take financial empowerment. There are persons on this platform who gamble away $25, $50, $100, who waste it. And so if somebody says, Dr. Ben, why should I invest in this coin? Suppose I lose my money. I'm not promising anybody. I'm just sharing a concept whose success is going to be based on the involvement of the community member. So its success or its failure is not based on me. I'm doing my part. This coin, and I want to big up Prince Emmanuel. Friend of mine, Emmanuel, came, spent some days with me, not a student again. And the energy that he brought to me, the belief, the confidence. 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I only knew that I wanted to create an empowerment system, a financial empowerment system, but I didn't know how to do it. For 3 or 4 days, I locked myself away. And for that 3 or 4 days, I learned how to create the coin. I learned how to build the website. I learned how to create the white page. I learned how to create the structure. I was driven by my passion to see us empowered as a people. Now, many of you who are listening are more qualified than me as it relates to what I'm saying. As I said, I may have only just initiated the move. its success or its failure is dependent on you. I've seen many persons come to me, many wealthy persons. Every day I see persons fly down from the States. I had a lady who fly down recently with a cancer issue, and I could do very little because in order to help her, I needed a facility. I needed the tools. I'm not able to be effective as I would want to be because I don't have the tools. Don't have the tools. There are many of you are watching can do much more, but you don't have the tools. Some of you are wellness practitioners, but you don't have the tools. And the system is not designed to support us. You can't go to the bank and ask the bank to help me with funding to build a wellness center. It's not gonna. It's not gonna help the allopathic medicine. I can't go to the multilaterals that run big pharma to help them to contribute to this. They're not going to contribute to this community because this community will not help them. So who I have to turn to? I have to turn to the people who share the same concept with me, like me. The concept of persons who say, if I get sick, I want to get better using something natural. Those are the persons I have to turn to. Those are the persons that I have to say, guys, we just need to organize ourselves. No, I want persons to reach out to me. Reach out to me. We need technical team. Persons who are skillful in smart contract development. Blockchain engineers. Front-end developers. Security specialists. We need a design and a creative team. Persons who are good at creating brand identity. Web designers. Content creators. Motion video team. If you're good at motion video, we need somebody like that on the team. Community managers. Persons who can be a part of our Telegram or our Discord, or we can help manage or moderate our teams. Social media leads. Influencers. Some of you are big influencers that use your platforms to promote things that are not as important as the wellness and the food and the health care of our people. Not only ourselves, but our people. Event planners, copywriters, legal advisors, compliance specialists, policy advisors, treasury managers, analysts, grants managers, persons who are good at merchant integrations, persons who are culture connectors, persons who can help us to connect with herbalists, who can help us to connect with healers, persons who can help us to connect with activists. There's almost a place for everybody. We want to build a community. You know, when we build our grant community, our grant, when we earmark that 20% of that 2 billion coins, I don't want to be a part of that. We have smart contracts where the persons who will be a part of that team won't even know themselves. The persons who sign on the disbursement of funds, we're going to make those wallets, the wallets that we use to identify those persons, we're going to make those wallet addresses made known publicly. So nobody can move anything and the community don't know. And I don't want to be a part of that. I want to see a community. I've built Telegram groups. I've built other teams. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And one of the reasons why a lot of what I do, one of the reasons why it doesn't get the momentum that it should get and move, is because I'm trying to do too much on my own. I'm now making an appeal for persons to be a part of the community, a robust community. Whatever skill set you have, I want you to join the Telegram group. I'm getting ready to have a team leadership meeting, and I would love for you to be a part of our team leadership. I would love for you to be a part of our team leadership. I believe in the vision of this financial empowerment program. I believe that in turn, it's going to make a lot of you billionaires, millionaires. Goes without saying. We don't have to focus on what we're going to get out of it. If you focus on helping people to become better versions of themselves, it's almost automatic that you are going to be rewarded. You're going to be compensated. So you don't have to focus on what you are going to get. Jeff Bezos, what did he do? Jeff Bezos built a system that helps people to become better. In return, he's wealthy. Elon Musk, he built systems that help people to become better. In return, he is rewarded with wealth. We don't have to focus on what we are going to get out of it. I promise you. Let us just focus on how we can help ourselves and help our people and help the Caribbean and empower ourselves, and automatically we are going to be rewarded. We are going to be compensated. So guys, I want you to, if I'm coming up to that 2-hour mark. I really had about 2 hours to just get everything off my chest. I haven't posted for a very long time. You know what I haven't posted for a very long time? I don't just want to come out and say something. I want to make an impact. I want to see an impact. I want to create an impact. And I'm telling you that, you know, I've seen, thank you, Bookie. My wife will build your websites. Wonderful, Bookie. Thank you. Thank you. So please go over to our Telegram group. Join our Telegram group. And we're planning a meeting. And once we plan this meeting, it's going to be a meeting for the team leaders. Once we plan that, then I'll share with you, because I have outline of the job description, what needs to be done in what time frame, because we need to get this out there. Whatever skill set you have that you can bring, please. And if you know of anybody who you think after watching this video would be inspired enough to want to be a part of the project, please share it with them. The goal is to see indigenous Caribbean medicine grow. You know, we have so much that I want to do, but I realize that I may have the ideas and the concepts, but I may not be the best person to actually implement them or to establish them. As a matter of fact, I'm not very good at that. I'm very good at being inspired. As soon as I do something, my mind works a particular way. And so once I get involved, I get distracted, or I can't function in my best way. So I want you to please share the word. Help us to get this out there. And then I plan to do a couple of other lives. If you have a channel that you believe, if you have a social media platform that you believe would be a good boost for what we are doing for getting the message out there, please let me know. I would love to use your platform to share with you to get the message out there, because we really need to get the message out there. It's about financial empowerment. And we as a people, we have been at the bottom of the barrel. We have suffered long, and there are so many projects that I would love to see sponsored. There's one community here. It's called Source Farm. Anybody, you hear me talk about Source Farm, because I've been a recipient. I've benefited so much from their training, from their permaculture training, from their organic farming training, and they do so much that it is a sin. It is a shame that they are not given the funding needed to do more. I would want to do more, and I'm sure there are many, 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 many more. There are many more entities like Source Farm in Trinidad, in Barbados, in Costa Rica, in Haiti. There are many more, and there are many more healers out there who uh, who want support, who can do more, who want to do more, but you're limited because you don't have the tools. I want us to create a community where we can help ourselves, because most times we are at the bottom of the barrel, and most times we are, we are we are on the end. We are on the exploited end, right? We want to be in a position where we can join. So, for those of you who are crypto savvy, you can go to our website ICMMEME.com, and at the top of the website there is a link there. There's a blue banner that says pre-launch token available now. Click here. You can go there and you can just support us. At the bottom there are some tokens. I see a meme coin. Let me show you what meme coin looks like, by the way. See if I can get a picture of the meme coin. And you can purchase what we call ICMMEME community input points, and then a member of our team is going to reach out to you. When you purchase the community input points, we're going to have a member of our team reach out to you, walk you through the steps of setting up your wallet, and that community input point that you get is going to be converted to Solana. So it's going to be sent to your wallet, and you're going to be guided how to use that Solana to purchase the ICMMEME coin. And then once you purchase the ICMMEME coin, then, as I said, we're going to lock it up, and then we're going to release it over after 1 month, every month for 1 year. And so basically, you at that point, you can either sell it if you want, exchange it for Solana, or you can keep it, you can hold it, because we're going to be embarking on projects, on initiatives for the coin to increase in value. And so we're hoping that it is going to increase in value, because we know that the community, the wellness community, is a very large community, and that is the community that we're targeting. I want to show you, before we close, I want to show you an image of the meme coin. I want to show you an image of the meme coin. Right, so this is an image of the meme coin. That is a meme coin. I see a meme coin. One love, one chain. That's our motto. One love, one chain. And we please. I hope to do a number of other lives. I want to do a live where I go through the tokenomics, help persons to understand how we have divided this 1 billion coin, how it is going to be utilized. As I said, there's a lot that we want to get done. There's a lot that we want to do, but it starts from you. I'm asking you to share it with your friends. Say, hey, there's this herbal doctor who is promoting financial empowerment as it relates to wellness practitioners, and I really wanted to go there, and I really wanted to support it, because I believe that's something that we need. Really appreciate it. Again, as I said to you, if you have a platform that you believe can be used, or if you know somebody who has a platform that would help us to get the message out there, please reach out to me. Let me know about it. And we really want to get it out there. Thank you, Vitality Trends. Thank you so very much for your comment. As I said, I want to do more. I want to see more being done, and I'm excited already because I do believe that the invitation is going to see a lot of brilliant persons coming on board. I can't wait. I just can't imagine to meet all those brilliant people who, when they come together, to begin to put those great minds together. I believe we're going to build a community. I believe we're going to do something that the world is going to talk about. I believe we're going to do something that the world is going to talk about. What is this ICM that I hear about from the Caribbean? It's gonna be, I see it being spoken about on major news networks. I see it being featured on major crypto coin websites. What is this thing that we are hearing about? The ICM meme coin. What is ICM? That's going to give us a chance to talk about indigenous Caribbean medicine. He's going to be able to talk about some of you who are practitioners of indigenous Caribbean medicine. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for being on. I hope that I didn't bore you. I hope that you share the message, and I hope that you join the community. I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I hope that we will build this together. So until we meet again, it is one love, one chill. ICMMEME kind. Goodbye, guys. See you next week.